You're probably aware that one of the easiest ways to get a little kid to really want something is to convince them that you want it yourself. As the youngest of 7 siblings, I was the victim of this trick many, many times. It was many years before I realized that I actually prefer chocolate ice cream after being duped into thinking I liked vanilla. I'm mentioning this, though, because what we like, what we prefer, what we value, maybe even what we treasure, changes over the course of our lives. And it doesn't just change because our tastes mature. It changes for lots of different reasons, lots of different influences, lots of different experiences. And so it's all well and good to talk about the kingdom of God as this treasure in the ground or a pearl of great price. To kind of imagine, oh, well, yeah, everybody would recognize that. Or if I could only see it in front of me, I'd snatch it up. But the pearl, the treasure, on the one hand, yes, it's Jesus himself, it's the voice of God. But just like the ice cream or whatever it might be that we really prefer, that's always there. It doesn't change. Our perception of it does. And so if we graduate from something as basic as ice cream to more serious things in life, we know what this looks like. Leave God aside for a moment. We know what it looks like just in our own humanity. Think of some of the relationships you've had over the course of your life. It's not all that unusual for those to wax and wane in terms of their importance, in terms of how much we value another person, how much we value and treasure our relationship with them. And it would be nice to say, well, we always see their dignity and beauty, and no matter what happens, that just stands firm for us. But I think if we're brutally honest, or at least if I speak for myself, I know that's not always the case. Their intrinsic value, their dignity never changes. But what if they've hurt me? What if they've embarrassed me? What if they've forgotten me or betrayed me or let me down? Suddenly, they're not so treasured anymore. And it goes in the other direction. I can be blinded to things that really need to change or need to be improved by flattery or gifts or something that person might do that just really fits into what I want. And we can trick ourselves, not seeing what is really there. And if we can do that with one another, and not just with other people, even with things in our lives, things that we desire, things that we aspire towards, those too, their value can change in our eyes for lots of different reasons that have nothing to do with their intrinsic value. If we can do that with the people and things in our lives, you better believe we can do it with God as well. Because it's not as if God just sits off in the bleachers somewhere and we're all interacting here on earth. God's presence, God's value, God's beauty, God's dignity is represented so often in and through the people in our lives, in and through the intrinsic goodness of things that are here in our world. So maybe as we go into this 17th week of ordinary time, an invitation for a little spiritual exercise, and maybe sit down and just kind of make a little inventory over the years of your life. What are the things you value now? Who are the people? What are the relationships? What would you give so much of your emotional capital towards, or your capital towards? And what would those things have been 5 years ago, 10 years ago, however many years you've got behind you? And I don't care if you're 17 or you're 77, we can point to those things and we can point to how they change. And sometimes it'll be, yes, if I've grown up and matured, I've valued things that really do have more value. But there comes a time in our lives where we can start to devalue those things that we really ought to cherish, those people that we really ought to cherish, because for whatever reason, our hearts have been turned in another direction. And if you recognize some of those relationships or things in your own life, as almost certainly we all would, that's a beautiful prayer, just to come back and to re-ground yourself in the inherent value of that person or that cause or that situation, and to pray for the courage, the healing, to have a heart that's converted, to really see and value the treasure that is a treasure and the pearl that has never lost its great price.
Thank you for joining us today. Our digital ministry provides a valuable service to parishioners and visitors alike. Daily and Sunday Mass, funerals, weddings, and fireside chats, among other things, can be seen locally, throughout the country, and even the world, in real time or at one's convenience. If you would like to support this effort, please go to olphglenview.org. Click on the gold Donate button and then the Sunday Giving icon to make a contribution on our secure online giving portal. We sincerely appreciate your past and ongoing support. Thank you for helping us continue this ministry. God bless.